live somewhere over there. So that's what we want to do, really, is protect the place for the next generation.
Hopefully they won't think y'all are boring. So, no.
I think they will.
Do something scandalous.
And then write a book about it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else have anything to say? Okay. Anyone have a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve case number 24073 for local historic designation of the 2-unit residence at 102 20th Avenue.
I'll
And-
second it.
Roll call, please.
Member Hurley,
Yes.
Member Daschle,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Chair Lowry,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you all. Okay, now we're moving on to 3G, which is the local historic designation case number 24074 for the residents at 3606 Casablanca Avenue.
We get the PowerPoint, please. Okay. This is moving north up to the Don Cesar neighborhood. This is one of the two neighborhoods that we had surveyed during our most recent historic resources survey that was earlier this year. The applicant owner for this case is Daniel Elliott Nixon. Property address is 3606 Casablanca Avenue, and they're requesting local historic designation of their single-family residence. So we just have the one photo of the structure from the 2024 Historic Resources Survey. The structure was determined to be a contributing resource to a, as of now, not submitted National Register Historic District. This was just a survey, but we did prepare a Florida Master Site file that is one of the minimum criteria for designation as a local resource and reaping some of the benefits that come with local designation. So staff recommends approval of the local historic designation of this residential property. It reflects the broad cultural, economic, and social history of the Don Cesar neighborhood and that of St. Pete Beach, and it has been designated as a contributing property in the Don Cesar historic neighborhood. And we recommend a motion to approve the case.
Okay. Anyone here to speak on this? Yes, please come forward.
Yeah, David Nixon. That picture, Brandon. The bugs really look bad in the grass.
It's historic, your grass. So
Yeah.
it's okay, right.
Just a cool house, old house.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Nixon?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Thank
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So I noticed you added some verbiage, Brandon, because this one we had to do a little extra work on, right? But we've accomplished all those things by what you said.
Correct. So the city requires both local historic designation and either the structure being a contributing resource or a Florida Master Site file. The city's already performed Florida Master Site files for all of our contributing resources, so this needed that additional step, but it was completed.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Anyone have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion. Move to approve local historic designation, case number 24074 for designation of the single-family residence at 3606 Casablanca Avenue.
I'll second that. Madam Clerk?
Member Hurley,
Yes.
Member Daschle,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Chair Lowry,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, now we have 3H, local historic designation, case number 24075 for 3514 Casablanca Avenue.
Pull up the PowerPoint. This is case number 24075, 3514 Casablanca Avenue. Applicant owners are Vincent and Rosaria Tormenia. They're requesting local historic designation of a single-family, one-level residence. So just like the prior case, this was included and picked up in our most recent historic resource survey of the Don Cesar and Bella Vista neighborhood. It was noted as a contributing resource. This is a photo from pre-storm, but we did assess it after the storm, and there's no exterior elements that we feel are necessary to restore. We do recommend approval of the designation of the residential property because it reflects the broad cultural, economic, and social history of the Don Cesar neighborhood and that of St. Pete Beach. We're asking for the board's recommendation for local historic designation of this residence.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience want to comment on this? Sir, please state your name for the record.
I'm Vincent Torminia. I own the home with my wife there. When we bought this home, I've been coming here since I've been a child. And my cousins lived in 400 Paso Grill. I knew basically everybody in Paso Grill, you know, from Augie Bush to Hurley's. I could tell you stories from years and years what went on in Pitt. And it was just absolutely, it was wonderful. Okay, I remember Gulf Boulevard being one lane one way, one lane the other way. Each, like when you came to the Don Cesar area, there was arches coming over that said Don Cesar, Lido, actually in the streets. I had pictures of all this stuff, but in the interim of the flood, everything got destroyed.
Yeah.
So, and it's really a shame, you know, because even the areas, how they were named from Thomas Rowe in the Don Cesar area, those were all named after his favorite operas, you know, Maritana, Casablanca, all of them were, you know, there's a lot of history. And I want to try and preserve it the way it was. And we have to try and stop these people that are trying to come in and take over, and these corporations coming in and destroying our neighborhoods. And this is the only way to keep it. My next thing was to do is, which we are considering it anyway, is to have a bloodline trust where the house will never be sold and it will go down from generation to generation to generation. I did have something like that in my will, but it went out the window. So I have to have that redone again. But my house was one of the houses when in that area from that I knew. My cousin even went to school with the people who own my house. I'm the second owner of that house. And it would be a shame for that area to be destroyed at all. I want to try and preserve it the best way possible. Thank you.
I think Casablanca's on a roll. We might have a historic street before this is all over,
Yeah.
so.
Yes, because actually, if the people, it's only me and one other person that's still the original people on my block. But if the other ones was still alive, oh my God, you know, my next door neighbor Catherine, Wanda, you know, who had her house built in 1950, you know, and that house was, you know, 3512, and that house was built by her, and she's the one who gave me all the pictures, and it's just a shame that they're gone. You know, I had no inkling that this was going to happen, along with everything else. You know, and after being here 35 years, I never believed that this was going to ever happen. Oh yeah, the water used to come up a little bit and then go down again and stuff like that, but never like this, you know. So, but I want to try and work to keep our area the way it was. I remember there wasn't even a bayway. You know, you used to have to go all the way around to get to 34th Street. You know, it was really nice. That was a cul-de-sac, you know, before it was a bayway. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Informative. Anyone have any questions? Anyone have a motion?
Motion to approve local historic designation, case 24075, for the single-family residence at 3514 Casablanca Avenue.
I'll second that motion. Roll call, please.
Member Dashel?
Yes.
Member Hurley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Chair Lowry?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Now we go to 3I, which is a little bit different. We're doing a certificate of appropriateness for the restoration of, in case number 24089, 800 Paso Girl Way, which is the Seahorse Restaurant. So For all those who've just had the local historic designations, perhaps we'll be seeing you again, so, in the near future. So thank you all for coming down. Okay, Brandon, you want to go to the Seahorse, please?
Yes. So this is certificate of appropriateness for restoration. I was going to say this is one of our most recent local designations, but I think it's 10th in line now with all the ones that were approved today. So this is the Hollenbeck's property at 800 Pastor Grill Way, the Seahorse Restaurant. They're requesting a certificate of appropriateness to restore the structure, which is a locally designated historic resource, to pre-damage condition. Case number 24089. So you'll have to forgive me for this. The staff report was put together at the time that we sent out your packet. I have since spoken with the applicant, so I've received a lot of the information that I had asked for in the staff report. They're simply seeking a certificate of appropriateness to restore the structure to pre-storm condition. The request will not include any new spaces, any substitution of exterior elements. I did receive an email from the applicant this past weekend. I just wanted to quickly go through the different elements of the structure. They noted the kitchen walls to be undamaged. Kitchen doors would be replaced with galvanized steel, same as the original. The outside dining and waiting areas would be the Trex decking. That would be the same as original as well. Exterior walls of the dining area would be cedar siding. I did clarify that that will be the cedar plank, not the shake, so it will match the original. Double hung windows with vinyl, again original. The entrance doors at the patio and east wall would be wood with glass lights. That would be the same as original. And the exit doors at the back of the dining areas would be the same as original, the galvanized steel and wood as the one and the other. It would be finished with tongue and groove pine. The exception of the back wall of the dining room, which I wasn't able to determine if that was interior or not. That will be half drywall on top and tongue and groove on the bottom. The lattice along the roof line, that would be the same as original. That was part of one of the improvements that was conducted back in the 90s, I believe. And it would be pressure-treated frame with wood, which is the original, or vinyl. And the planters on the outside of the windows at the dining area would be the same as the original, pressure-treated pine. So a lot of the questions I had in the staff report and a lot of the information that I was hoping to get from the applicant today, they've provided to me over this past weekend. I had requested 5 bits of information. They answered some of these questions. The first is whether the rooftop mechanical equipment will remain at the same elevation and the general size. This is the equipment mounted on the back of the building along the alleyway. Are awnings to be replaced with the same color scheme? I did speak to them before the meeting. They are, so that question's been answered. They also stated that the cedar siding is to remain the plank instead of the shake, so that answers that question. I don't believe they are proposing any color changes at all, but I just wanted them to speak to that on the record, and whether they'll be using any kind of chemical treatment to be employed on the exterior features. I do believe they're going to be mostly restoring, so I don't believe that to be the case, but that's one of the criteria that we need to look at in these cases. So we're supporting the request as proposed. We would like to ensure that when the application is made, the applicant's contractor notes the product specifications with the schematics, noting the color and the design of the restored elements. If there's any deviation from the Florida master site file, which based on the email I received this weekend, there doesn't appear to be, I just want them to note that when they make application, and just asking that the mechanical equipment be restored effectively in the same location. That is something that if there's additional equipment, especially if it's mounted on the front of the building, we're supposed to bring that forward for Historic Preservation Board review, so we just want that to be noted on the record. And we do request a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness, case 24089, subject to the 2 recommended staff conditions.
Okay, anybody want to come forward and speak about this? I want to know what kind of, are you going to still do the same plants in the planter box, or are you going to add some different flowers out there?
Geraniums in the winter and what's that other stuff? Lantana, I guess, so.
Okay, well, I guess, do you need them to answer those questions, perhaps, if you can, about the color and things of that nature? Are you going to change the color?
No.
Any changes to the mechanical equipment location? No? Okay. I just wanted to make sure because it's part of our evaluation, so.
And then I didn't see on here, but the little decking on the corner where people could sit and wait, is that going to be able to go back, or?
That's the same, yeah.
I don't know if that's addressed in this, but is it? I don't know.
That was noted in the email. I think I might have left it out of here, but it was addressed, so, yes.
Well, it became a raft, didn't it? Okay. Anybody have any questions? Anyone? All right,
Any changes to the menu?
just the price. All right, no. Okay, anyone have a motion?
I'll motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for case number 24089, subject to the 2 recommended staff conditions.
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Member Daschle?
Yes.
Member Laurie? I'm sorry. Member Hurley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Chair Lowry?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And on another note, or similar note, are we, tonight there's a commission meeting, right? Is she going to be on there about,
Yes, yes, the emergency ordinance that the board recommended at the last meeting will be on for
Excellent.
commission.
you all know about that, right? We talked about that last time.
So that's for, just to summarize this, we actually are making very good time, so. This was reviewed by the Historic Preservation Board at their last meeting, and currently the city has a FEMA variance process for any of the locally designated structures. As long as it's not going to alter the historic character of the structure, you're eligible to make application. It does go through a hearing process, so it can be a little time consuming. It takes a few months to get those cases moved forward. We do have to notice for them. However, should the damage be only interior, or should it be one-for-one restoration? In the case of the Seahorse, for example, we are requesting the ability to allow for those type of, not variances, but waivers administratively to the substantial improvement rule. So any structure on the historic registry that was designated while the board was a CLG would be eligible for that. Any structure from prior to that date, 2005, I believe, would need to be re-registered, but that would be available to any structure designated after that. So
that means at tonight's meeting, if they approve this emergency hearing, it'll save you time significantly. If it meets the qualifications that Brandon said, which can't say in advance, but for a lot of you folks that are probably going to take that next step to try to get the FEMA variance, it could wind up saving you some time. So hopefully the commission will do that this evening, and we'll have an answer tomorrow on that. All right, thank you, Brandon. All right, now we're going to action item 3J, the certificate of appropriateness for demolition, case number 24076 for the home located at 1307 Paso Girl Way.
you can pull up the PowerPoint. This is our last case. Case number 24076 is mentioned for certificate of appropriateness for demolition of 1307 Paso Girl Way. Ben Freeman, on behalf of Judith H. Preston Trust, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to demolish the contributing single-family residential structure. So here are some photographs of the property. These were taken recently after the storm, of course. And these accompany some other photographs that were submitted by the applicant that were included in your packet. These were taken by staff. So staff did not find any reason to impose a stay, as was mentioned by the board at the preceding meeting. We do request that you motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness to allow for demolition in case 24076.
Anybody here to speak on this? Okay. Well, as we all know, we have no authority over the demolition. The photographs seem to indicate, and of course the application itself talks about it wasn't feasible to try to save this home, which is a shame. It's a beautiful house, and I hate to see these. I'd much rather have people come in to get historically designated if they can do that. But under the circumstances, I understand the issues here. I think we all do. So in that regard, I will make a motion for a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of 1307 Paso Girl Way, which is case number 24076. And it would be noted that we are not requesting any kind of 30-day delay.
I'll second that motion.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Member Daschle?
Yes.
Member Hurley?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Chair Lowry.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I would make a comment that doesn't alter that approval at all, but just so that everyone's aware that we do review any new construction that's proposed for a site within the geographic boundary of this historic district. So it's going to be demoed, but anything that's going to be built is going to come back here for review again, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I think that actually wraps up our meeting. If no one else has any other comments. Our next meeting is December 5th.
There's a
Brand-
hand up.
Pardon me?
There's a hand up.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to ask about the Doctor Hotel. Do they ever do anything with that as far as historical?
Not that I'm aware of. Brandon, anything in the hopper there, anything?
Nothing that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah.
Because I know that the staircase was made from Marilyn Monroe, you know, and the Rat Pack used to stay there.
Okay.
Yeah, and where Publix is where they used to be the field, you know. There's a lot of history
Well,
there.
maybe we can get Marilyn in here somehow. If,
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe, the Rat Pack used to stay there. That's why the room upstairs was made, the small room was their playroom, and the big ballroom was when they partied at night up there.
Interesting.
Cool.
So they had the staircase made for
Now, someone should write a book about that, right?
Yeah, and they had all the pictures going up the wall, you know, as you would go up those stairs to the ballroom. And I just was wondering if they were putting it as historical, because it should be, you know, that.
Well, I think there's still a lot of things that are going to happen here. I was just going to ask you, Brandon, do you know how many cases we have for December 5th? I mean, we're going to have a lot, or is this going to be the main, or do you even know? Right.
We have at least 7 cases. It might be 8.
Uh-huh.
So. And then we have a few design reviews. We decided not to put any other major items on the agenda. I know we have the workshop coming up in January, but we'll probably move those items to the January meeting.
Very good. And do we need, I know that we're kind of finished, we didn't really set this for discussion items, but do we need to talk about getting another date 2 weeks after the 5th? Or what do you think about that?
So as of right now, with the exception of one case, I believe it slowed down a little bit. I believe we're going to be getting most of the cases on for the December 5th meeting, so I don't see a need to schedule one right now.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, in the next week or so, something pops up, then email us and let us know
Absolutely.
if you want to add one.
I had a question about a city-owned building. The old shuffleboard or old city hall that was on the 10th Avenue Park.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any word on what may happen with it?
I saw somebody working on it today, doing something there where they were just
I
knocking.
think they were trying to collect some of the shuffleboard equipment,
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
and they're cleaning up shuffleboard courts so they can be used.
I can
What's
try to.
interesting in looking at it, it looked like initially it might have been open air, because you can see like the cross beams, it made it look like it was not walled in at first. I don't
It is
know.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was back to the original look, yeah, so,
I'll try to find out and get back with you on that.
Appreciate that, thank you.
yeah, that'd be great. Okay, anything else?
I would just like to thank Brandon and Kristen, who have been absolutely incredible during all of this, and I know you guys were really thrown into it, and you do so much anyway. And also Lynn and everybody for that matter. Everybody has just, you've been wonderful, and there's people in the community that have said what wonderful resources you've been and how helpful and kind. And it's great that people in the community have you all to go to ask questions and get feedback and a professional opinion, and also a personal one as far as just offering your kindness and compassion. And so thank you for that.
Thank you very much. And, yeah. I'd also point out, I think we did, this is probably as many historic designations we do in a year, isn't it? Or maybe a little bit more.
I think so. I think between this meeting and next meeting, we'll be at more than I had going back to 2018 when I started here. So it's quite a few.
Okay, so those people out there, get yourself designated, even maybe someday you might need that. Okay. All right, anything else? All right, adjourned. Thank you, Brandon.